What's up guys, it's National Master Dem Apples here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be going over one of my most accurate games ever. I just played this. It's whopping, let's take a look, 99.3% accuracy. So, a pretty good game. Apparently I played like 2650, so it was a pretty good game. We start out with e4, c5. This is the Sicilian defense. Knight f3, knight c6, d4. The open Sicilian takes, knight f6, all very standard stuff. Knight c3, pawn to e5, and this is the start of like the Sveshnikov Sicilian. It's a very sharp line, but eventually ends up in a draw most of the times, as chess does. Knight db5, this is the main move. White is trying to get into the d6 square and trade off black's strong bishop, and additionally, white will prevent black from castling, so I have to go pawn to d6 to stop the knight from getting there. White goes knight to d5. This is a common move, but it's not the most common move in my experience. The most common move is bishop g5, and after a6, knight a3, b5, knight d5, we get into some more theory. But knight d5 right away is also a move, and the obvious threat is dropping into c7, right? So I take this knight out, and he takes with the pawn. White does not take with the queen. Should I say? Okay. Yeah, because there are multiple good moves. First of all, a6, and when the knight goes back, there's this very strong move, knight to d4, threatening this fork on c2, and white doesn't really have a good response. For example, if bishop to d3, there is this simple, oh, I thought there was something better, but the engine likes rook to b8, simply protecting this pawn. And you'll notice something pretty funny. Bishop to e6 is a queen trap, and it's pretty much unstoppable. So the queen is just kind of clumsy on d5, so pawn takes d5. Knight to b8. There are other moves like knight to e7, which are pretty sharp, and they involve fianchettoing the bishop and moving the knight to f5 and stuff like that. Not my style. I like to play it simpler, and it looks dumber, which makes my opponent think I'm dumb, even though when I'm not, I mean, like, I might be dumb. I don't know. Pawn to a4. Very standard. White is gaining space on the queen side. Generally, you attack where your pawn chain is pointing. And I have a small pawn chain pointing towards the king side, which is where I'm going to attack. And generally, white is going to attack on the queen side, looking for this pawn break c5. But a4 is a very standard move as well. Bishop e7, c4, getting ready for this c5 push. I generally don't see these two moves played together, at least not right away. But we'll see. Castles, I'm just developing. And he brings his knight back to c3. Perhaps he didn't like that a6 would kick his knight. But knight c3 is played, and I play pawn to a5. Now you might ask, why do I play pawn to a5, and why is it the best move? What I'm trying to do here is lock down this side of the board. So if I get a pawn to b6 and a knight on c5, right, I will have successfully locked down all of his play. And then I will be the only one with any play, and it's going to be on the king side. Right, so if I can lock this position down, as you can see, I'm preventing him from gaining space with pawn to b4, then I will have done my job. So b3, again, I'm not sure what he's doing, but yes, this is very logical, right? He's trying to get the bishop out, maybe, I don't know. Knight d7, developing the knight, trying to get it to c5, where it's going to be a bastion, as Hikaru would say. Bishop d3, knight c5, and bishop c2. And now I go f5. I am already trying to play on the king side, building the big black center, as Hikaru would again say. Castles. Now bishop to d7, just developing a piece and waiting for what white's gonna play. This move also controls the b5 square in case white ever wants to hop in. f3 is played. White didn't like the prospects of e4, blunting his bishop and gaining space, so he plays f3. This is a very thematic move. It's definitely not a bad move. And bishop to g5. Now you might wonder, like, why did I play bishop g5 and why is it the best move? Well, the reason why bishop g5 is a good move is, first of all, I kind of know these structures because I've played them a lot. But second of all, if you take a look, white's light squared bishop is surrounded by a lot of light squared pawns, right? And light squared pawns complement a dark squared bishop. So that means this bishop complements these pawns, which are on the light squares, because dark and light, you know? But this bishop is pretty bad. So what I'm doing is I'm exchanging off his good bishop, and this is the whole point. I want the good piece. As for me, right, the bishop, dark square bishop is my bad bishop. As you can see, Like, I have a lot of pawns on dark squares, but this bishop becomes very active later because after knight to b5, I get rid of my bishop because this knight is just really strong. It's really annoying. I take it, and now b6. And as you can see, I've built the great wall, and yeah, knights are really good in close positions. So he goes bishop to a3. This is a good move. I'm not quite sure why. Bishop to e3 check. It's a good move because it avoids the trade, by the way. White does not want to trade his good bishop. Bishop e3 check. Very nice move. Just forcing the king to the corner. And meanwhile, I am protecting my knight. I'd like to take with my bishop, by the way. I don't want to, like, allow him any sort of weakness or any sort of way to get through. Because, like, when he takes on c5, he's going to have either a pass d pawn or a pass b pawn and some way to get in my position. I don't really like that. Also, I can make the wooden shield, as Hikaru would say, on d4, which is pretty nice. King h1. Now I go queen g5. Again, as I said, I want to play on the king side, and so I'm definitely just going to bring my strongest piece over there, right? From now on, it's pretty simple. I just bring all my pieces to the queen side, and because I've built this big wall, he can't do anything on the king side, right? Bishop takes knight. This is a bit questionable because I can take back with my bishop, and he still can't break through. Rook e1, rook f6. My plan is so simple. I'm just going to go here. In fact, after his next move, queen e2, rook h6, I already threatened checkmate. Rook takes h2, check. King, so let's say he does something stupid, right? Check. This is checkmate, right? So there is already a checkmate threat. Pawn to h3 is played, but now I need to bring all my pieces into the game, right? So rook f8, rook f6. My plan is either rook g6, possibly, maybe double stacking on the h file. But that doesn't happen. Well, that does happen, right? But my plans are rudely interrupted when he goes queen d2, as rook h6 would hang a queen. Oops. So that did not happen. I have a few good moves. I was considering playing f4, but what I didn't like about f4 is that it gives him some activity, right? And I don't want to give my opponent any activity. So my queen just gets in nice and comfy on g3, saddling itself really close with the white king. And from here on, I'm just going to continue my strategy, right? I'm going to put my rooks on good squares, and yeah, the idea is rook h6 followed by some sort of sacrifice. Now, does a sacrifice right away work? Well, no. Well, for example, like, let's say he goes, I don't know. I am threatening bishop b4, which wins material, right? Say he goes rook f1, right? I can go here, but after bishop takes f5, it's not that great because he controls this and protects it. Rather, a good move is pawn to e4, blunting the bishop, right? And now I go here with unstoppable threats. Instead, my opponent goes bishop to f1, which is a mistake, and I just forced checkmate in 2. Pause the video yourself and try to find it. Alright, I've given you enough time, and it's a pretty simple tactic. Rook takes h3 check. Apparently it's brilliant. I don't think so. This square is covered, and after pawn takes rook, which is forced, we have queen to g1, checkmate. So overall, a really, really accurate game. I don't think I really made any mistakes there at all. But it's just all about the good bishop and the bad bishop, right? Okay, to be fair, I have a bad bishop, right? But this is a bad but active bishop. As you can see, it's outside my pawn chain. This bishop is so sad, like, look at it. It's just so stuck inside his position. And my bishop was the one that delivers checkmate. So just because you have opposite colored bishops doesn't mean it's a draw. Like, maybe in an endgame it is. But in the middle game, it's all about who's the attacker and who's got the better placed pieces. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.